through a combination of opinion research showing strong public support for taxing the rich, astute publicity, coalition building, and mass mobilization, CFT pushed a reluctant governor to join forces in a single ballot measure, creating the conditions for victory in November. Here's how it happened.
A budget alert now. Governor Jerry Brown has stopped collecting signatures for his original ballot measure to raise taxes. He's now focusing on a new tax initiative, which is a compromise between his original plan and the tax proposal from the California Federation of Teachers. The plan includes a smaller sales tax increase than the governor had originally wanted, but it does have a larger income tax increase on the state's highest earners.
Community leaders and religious leaders joined together at the state capitol today to announce a grassroots campaign to pass Proposition 30. That's Governor Brown's tax measure that raises the income tax on those making $250,000 or more. Supporters say severe budget cuts are destroying the American dream for millions of people in our state.
But over the last several years, there have been $20 billion in cuts. This should speak for themselves. And these cuts in education, public safety, health and human services, and the state's infrastructure are destroying the California dream for millions of residents.
Education.
Many of the supporters at today's rally had previously supported a competing initiative known as the Millionaires tax. That proposal would have raised taxes for people making $1 million a year or more. That was tossed out after Governor Brown agreed to rewrite his measure.
We know that in the coming days, and we've already seen it, people who want to defeat Prop 30 are going to spend millions and millions of dollars to tell you that taxing the wealthy is not good for you and refunding education is not good for you.
If Proposition 30 passes, California will have the most crushing tax burden in the United States of America by a long shot. Number 2 will be far behind us.
Today is the launch of Californians for Yachts, not taxes. No on 30.
Oh yes, these 4 California boys want to reform our system even more to protect our privilege. You know it really is their job not to pay taxes. Thus the name of our campaign. I think it's very clever, dear. Oops! I hereby christen our campaign, the Californians for Reforms and Jobs. That means yachts, not taxes.
Hear, 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 hear.
Oops, maybe we don't know what we're doing, fellas.
When you take your $4 and you buy a sandwich, buy a couple of Cokes or something, that's about you. But what about all of us together as a people, as a family, as a nation, as a state? That's what the quarter goes for, the quarter of a cent. Now, there's another part of the tax, which is most of the tax. Most of the money is going to come from the top. Now, let's understand what that's all about. 30 years ago, when I was governor, the top 1% took about 8%, earned 8% of the income. This year, the top 1% will earn about 22%. That's a huge increase that has gone to the top. So Proposition 30 says, hey, wait a minute. If you're making $500,000, you better pay 1% more as you earn more. You get to be $1 million bucks in 1 year. I bet anyone here would be glad to pay 3% if you can make $1 million.
Please welcome the Secretary Treasurer of the California Federation of Teachers, our partner in this effort, Jeff Freitas.
I have 3 questions for all of you. First question, will you register by Monday to vote yes on Prop 30? Yeah! Will each and every one of you get 10 other people to vote yes on Prop 30? Yeah! How will you vote by November 6th on Prop 30? Vote yes on Prop 30. Thank you.
California voters are still on the fence about the governor's tax hike proposal.
CBS 5 reporter Ann Makovic in San Francisco with how Prop 30 campaign right now is drumming up support in this last week before the election. She joins us with more. Ann?
Just a few days left. Governor Brown is down Market Street right now campaigning at the Commonwealth Club, and we met some teachers that were hitting the highway in favor of Prop 30, but the polls are so close right now, it really could go either way.
When they honk,
we know they're going to vote yes.
And a few days before the election, that's music to these teachers' ears.
Because if we don't start funding public education again, I'm afraid California won't have a future.
My job depends on it.
They were standing on highway overpasses during rush hour with signs supporting Prop 30, which would raise the income tax on people earning more than $250,000 and the sales tax by about a penny for every $4 spent. Much of the money would go to schools.
We can't afford to shortchange our children on their education and on their future.
A new CBS 5 poll showed 51% of likely voters support Prop 30, but then a new field poll released this morning showed only 48%.
See the Chavez who fought in their own time for our brothers, our sisters up and down that picket line, for the unnamed and unnumbered who struggle brave and long, for the union men and women standing up and standing strong.
Welcome to News Conference. Proposition 30 would increase income taxes on individuals making $250,000 or more. It would also increase the sales tax by 0.25%. Joshua Peshtal is president of the California Federation of Teachers. Yes on Proposition 30. John Capal is president of the Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association. He comes to us from Sacramento. Mr. Capal, what say the Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association?
Well, first of all, this is a massive tax increase. It's a $50 billion tax increase not only on our incomes, but as you pointed out, this is a significant increase in the sales tax. California already has the highest sales tax in America at 7.25%, and this would bump it up even higher.
Well, it's unfortunate that argument is being made. If you look at the people who are supporting Prop 30, hundreds and hundreds of organizations, including superintendents, school boards, city councils, firefighters, nurses. There's a huge coalition that understands very clearly that this money is going to go into public education. Mr. Capal says that this is a huge tax increase, but frankly, it's a modest sales tax increase. It's a 1/4 cent. If you're spending $4 on a hamburger, you're paying an additional 1 penny. That's something California voters can handle. And the tax responsibility is going on, as you said earlier, is going on the shoulders of those people who have done well over the last few years, not on middle class and working class families. This is going on the shoulders of people making $250,000 a year and above. We're asking the top 1% to pay a little bit more, to pay their fair share, to benefit the children and the people of California. We think that's right.
Dig in, man, hold your ground. Ocho Hill and Sila Chavez, who fought in their own time for our brothers, our sisters up and down that picket line, for the unnamed and unnumbered who struggle brave and long, for the union men and women standing up and standing strong.
Overcame decades of anti-tax sentiment and approved the first general tax in 20 years. Proposition 30 passed, raising taxes to help rescue the state's schools. Governor Brown's measure to increase the sales tax and raise income taxes on high-wage earners was called about an hour ago after votes counted overnight went mostly in favor of it. Right now, with 77% of the precincts reporting, you can see Prop 30 has a margin of 6%.
It's appropriate to cheer loudly